All right. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in once again to Queen Amadai TV, More Than Meets the Third Eye. I'm your host, Queen Amadai Shakur, and this is your spiritual vitamins. Okay, so let's get ready to get into it. Shout out to all of my star dusters in the chat. Okay, so YouTube, I got a notification from StreamYard saying that YouTube was having issues and that people weren't able to go live. So apparently it looks like they've remedied the issue. Okay, so let's get ready to get into it. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. And for those of you who are members to the channel, I will be posting something for you guys probably later on tonight or in the morning. Okay, I've already recorded it. I've just got to add my slides to it, and then I'll post that. All right, and so with that all being said, let's get into it. Hey, Locked Queen Candy J. Okay, so let's talk about it because today's lesson is all about the 10 types of people who never deserve a second chance. Okay, sometimes we can forgive people for things they do and we give them another chance. And some people, we have to give them another chance and another chance and another, and we just keep giving it and just keep allowing them to go, invade our boundaries, to disrespect us, to do certain things. And we keep giving them another chance and hoping that some way, someday they'll change. But some people are never going to change. And so to keep giving them chance after chance, it's just a waste of your time and your energy. And they're, in fact, taking advantage of you to a degree. But you have to take some of the blame because you're allowing them to do so. So let's talk about some of these people that you should not give a second chance. There are some people who just don't deserve it. And you don't owe it to anyone to keep giving them another chance to disrespect you, okay, to slight you, throw shade at you, or to mistreat you in any way, whether it's physical, mental, or spiritual. Okay? So with that all being said, let's get into it. Shout out to all of my Stardusters in the chat. And again, for those of you who just got here, I will be posting something either later tonight or early in the morning for the members. Okay? Just a brief video. It's about 10 minutes. And going to be uploading that. All right, so 10 types of people who never deserve a second chance. So let's talk about it. And this is according to psychologists, okay? But I didn't need a psychologist to tell me this because these people are all nefarious. Please pay attention. Now, we often hear the saying that everyone deserves a second chance. But let's face it, okay? There are some people who simply don't. The truth is that there are certain types of individuals who, quite frankly, just don't deserve your time and energy a second time around. There are some things that you can do to me that you're not going to get a second chance. Okay? This isn't a baseball game where you get 3 strikes and then you're out. That's not how it works. You can do certain things that will tick me off or just make me feel a certain type of way, that there's no way you're getting a second chance, and I'm not getting over it, and I don't have to get over it. And see, some people want to do things to you, and then they get upset at your reaction, say, oh, you're just going too far. Oh, well, I said I'm sorry. Well, sometimes sorry isn't enough. Okay, some things you do, I'm not going to forgive you for. Okay, I know they said that we should always forgive people, but sometimes I don't, and I'm not perfect. So that's just the way it is for me. Now, I don't know about you. Now, the truth is that there are certain types of individuals who, quite frankly, don't deserve a second chance. And in some people's experiences, they learn as they go. Once they keep giving people the benefit of the doubt, thinking they're going to change, giving them different chances or whatever, and they don't see any progress, and they hear people saying, I'm sorry, but their actions don't match the words because they keep doing the same thing again and again and again, well, then they're not sorry. When you're sorry, you don't just say the words and apologize. You make an effort, a conscious effort, to change the behavior. And if someone's telling you they're sorry but keep doing the same thing and even worse, they're not sorry at all. And they're taking advantage of you. Okay, now this psychologist says that in her experience, she says, I've identified 10 types of people who, for various reasons, probably won't change their ways no matter how many chances you give them. Okay, so that sounds like a dead end. It sounds like a case of no deposit, no return, and sounds like wasting your time. Okay, so let's talk about these people, because this is a tough topic for some, and in fact, the reality of it may be a bitter pill for some to even swallow. So the first type of people that don't deserve a second chance is habitual liars. Okay, now honesty is the cornerstone of any relationship, be it personal or professional. When someone consistently lies to you, it erodes trust and respect, 2 pillars of a healthy relationship. Habitual liars have a pattern of deceiving others, and usually for their own benefit. Now, they might lie to avoid conflict, make themselves look better, or even manipulate situations in their favor. Now, the habitual liar is different from the pathological liar. Even though they may be similar, the habitual liar just has a habit of lying. Okay, and they do so, like she says, basically to benefit themselves. It's something they want from you, so they'll lie to get it. They'll say things that you want to hear. Okay, they try to manipulate situations. Whereas the pathological liar is even more nefarious, because they not only lie all the time, but they lie even when there's no need to. They lie just for the sake of lying. And in fact, they lie so much and they're so good at it, that they start to believe their own lies. So then they can't even distinguish lies from the truth themselves after a certain length of time has passed. They've lied so much. And it's real crazy, okay? These people tend to be narcissists and sociopaths. And again, remember that I told you that all narcissists are not sociopaths, but clearly all sociopaths are narcissists, okay? And usually pathological liars to boot. So please pay attention. Now, giving a second chance to such individuals often means setting yourself up for further deception. Because let's face it, old habits die hard. And when lying is so deeply ingrained that it becomes a habit, the chances of a person suddenly turning truthful are slim to none. They've gotten comfortable with their lying. A habitual liar is like someone who's an alcoholic. Okay? They are going to take a drink every chance they get. It's like someone who's addicted to drugs. They're going to do this anytime they see it around. It's so tempting. They just can't say no. Even when they know it's bad for them, okay? And they realize the problems in their lives that it's caused. Habitual liars are just the same. So when you encounter a habitual liar, it's wise to consider if they truly deserve that second chance. Because more often than not, they absolutely don't. Okay? Trust me on this one. Now, emotional manipulators are the second set of people. Ever met someone who always seems to twist your words or actions to their advantage, leaving you feeling guilty or bad about yourself? That's the emotional manipulator for you. These people are experts at controlling others through guilt, blame, and victimization. And this psychologist says that I can tell you from personal experience It's exhausting. Saying that I had a friend once who would always turn every argument or disagreement around to make it seem like I was the one at fault, even when it was blatantly obvious that she was in the wrong. She would manipulate the situation so cleverly that I'd end up apologizing. Okay? This is what they do. This is what they do. And notice she said that this woman would manipulate the situation so cleverly. You see, some people think the word clever means intelligent, someone full of intellect. That's not what it means to me. When I use the word clever to describe somebody, I'm basically saying that they're wickedly wise, that they're good at being low down, that they're good at being deceitful, that they're good at being deceptive, conniving, and those sort of things. She says, I gave her numerous second chances hoping that she would change. But all that resulted in was me being constantly emotionally drained and feeling like the bad guy. Finally, I realized that some people just don't deserve a second chance. Emotional manipulators are definitely on that list. It's a hard lesson, but an important one. And the third set of people are the serial cheaters. Not someone who cheated once. They came back, apologized, showed remorse, regretted what they did, and moved forward trying to be better. But the people who cheat all the time, and every time they get caught, they have a sad story. Oh, you made me do it. You weren't showing me enough attention. Oh, I didn't mean to. I was drunk. They have all of these excuses. Okay? Infidelity is a painful blow to any relationship. The betrayal of trust can leave deep scars that are hard to heal. Unfortunately, there are people who cheat not just once, but multiple times. Now, serial cheaters have a pattern of infidelity. It's not a one-time mistake for them, but a recurring behavior. And according to a study that was published in the Journal Archives of Sexual Behavior, those who have cheated in their first relationship are 3 times more likely to cheat in their next. Now, handing out second chances to serial cheaters is often like throwing good money after bad. Okay, because if they've done it before, there is a high likelihood they'll do it again. It's not cynicism, it's statistics. Freeloaders. This is a fourth type of person. There is a saying that there's no such thing as a free lunch. But however, some people seem to live their lives hoping to prove this saying wrong. Freeloaders are those individuals who consistently take advantage of others' generosity without ever reciprocating it. They rely on others for money, resources, or even emotional support. But when it's their turn to give back, they're nowhere to be found. That's where they are. Anyone know someone like this? Because I know someone like that right now, and whom, quite frankly, I'm sick and tired of. Does anyone know someone who's a freeloader, who's always wanting something from you, who's always wanting to borrow something, your car, some money, some groceries? They always want something, and then they never have anything for you. And then they want to dump all their problems on you and ask you for advice and want you to help them solve the issues that they themselves created. Okay? But you could be going through anything like a grief, a loss of a loved one. You could be going through an illness that you just found out about, and you could be depressed. Do you think this person wants to listen to your problems? They don't have time, but they want you to listen to theirs. Please pay attention. Okay, Buckhorse DC said, my family. Okay, it's often family members, absolutely. All right, other people saying yes. All right, absolutely. They are nowhere to be found when you need a helping hand. Now, the problem with giving a second chance to a freeloader is that it often just encourages their bad behavior. You see, what you're doing is enabling them. And after you've enabled them long enough, then they start to feel entitled. It's like somebody that comes up to you every week after you get paid, and they keep up with when you get paid. Pay attention. They'll keep up when your check comes, when you get paid. And every time you get paid and they know it, they'll come up and say, hey, can you loan me $20? Hey, can you loan me $10? They won't ask for big sums of money. They'll nickel and dime you to them. Hey, you got $5 here? And then you give it to them because it's not a lot, but you start noticing they're never paying you back. And then when you finally realize, wait a minute, they never gave me back my money the last time, or the time before that, the time before that. They're asking me for money almost every time I get paid. So then you start to tell them no. And the first time you tell them no, no matter how many times you told them yes, they get mad as if you owe it to them. Why would they get mad about your money? Because you don't want to loan it to them who never paid you back in the first place. Well, that's because they now feel entitled. Now they've gotten comfortable and they've gotten used to it. So how dare you tell them no when you've been giving it to them for months now? Okay, that's how that works. So as tough as it might be, sometimes it's better to just say no and not give that second chance. It's not being mean. It's about setting boundaries. And the fifth type of people are neglectful individuals. Now, relationships, whether personal or professional, require effort and attention to thrive. However, some people seem oblivious to this fact and consistently neglect their responsibilities towards others. Neglectful individuals can be friends who never make the time for you, partners who take you for granted, or coworkers who shirk their duties and leave you with the bulk of the work. Hey, I'm about to leave. I need to get off early today. Can you finish this up for me, please? And then they start doing this on a regular basis. Hey, I've got to go do such and such on my lunch break. Could you possibly type this up for me, or could you do this for me while I'm gone? That's how that works. Okay? And so they don't want to do anything for you. Now, when you give a second chance to a neglectful person, you're essentially telling them that their behavior is okay. It's acceptable. It's all right. But why should you settle for someone who doesn't value your time or efforts? Your time and energy are valuable. Don't waste them on people who don't appreciate it. And neglectful individuals, they don't appreciate it. They never show attitude or gratitude. They never show you any sort of gratitude. They just, get you to do things for them by telling you these asinine excuses of something else that they have to do. The sixth types of people is the abuser. Okay, abusers are some of the most nefarious as far as I'm concerned. Now, this one's a little harder to talk about, but it's essential. Abuse, whether it's physical, emotional, or psychological, is never acceptable under any stretch of the imagination. Abusers wield power and control as weapons to hurt and manipulate others, unlike in the case of Diddy and Cassie. Please pay attention. They may use fear, guilt, shame, or even love as tools to keep their victim under their control. Now, giving a second chance to an abuser is not just detrimental, but it can also be dangerous. No one deserves to live in fear or constant tension. And if you or someone you know is in an abusive situation, you should reach out for help. There's no shame in seeking safety and happiness. Everyone deserves respect and kindness in their relationships. That goes without exception. And remember, I told you before that there are some things you should absolutely never sacrifice for anyone, no matter what. If you missed that video, please go back and watch. And then the seventh type of people, unapologetic wrongdoers. We all make mistakes. It's part of being human. But learning from those mistakes and apologizing when we're in the wrong is what sets us apart. Now, this psychologist says, I once knew someone who never apologized, no matter how wrong they were. They would deflect, blame others, or even deny the whole thing. It was like they were incapable of admitting they were wrong. Well, you know who's incapable of admitting they're wrong? I'm so glad you asked. Narcissists. Narcissists never accept accountability for anything they do, no matter how nefarious it is. They'll say that I wouldn't have done it if you hadn't done this. Well, I would never have said this to you if you hadn't said that. And then if you bring up something and correct them or criticize them for something they're currently doing, they'll bring up something from 10 years ago, maybe even longer than you did or said to them. Okay, that's nothing but a gaslighting and deflective tactic. They will never admit, take ownership or accountability or any culpability for their nefarious actions. Okay, and it's hard to build any form of relationship with someone who can't own up to their mistakes. A second chance given to an unapologetic wrongdoer is likely to just be wasted because without acknowledgement and remorse, well, there's little hope for a change. Because the first key to changing is to not only change your mind, but to admit where you were wrong so that you can avoid that behavior in the future. If you can't even admit that you were wrong, whether it's because you don't think you were wrong or because you just don't want to say it out of your mouth because you'd rather blame someone else. Either way, it's not good. And that shows that this is a person who's lacking the ability to change. They have no desire to change. And this psychologist says, it took me a while to realize this, but I did eventually. And let me tell you, it was a relief when I finally walked away. And the eighth thing is overtly dependent individuals. Now, some people complain. Terry Hartfield said, exactly, Queen, this sounds so familiar. Okay, it is very familiar to me. All right, Buckhorse DC said Donald Trump. All right, Samantha says truth. Okay, Locked Queen Candy J says facts, never, but always the victim. Yes, they absolutely are. No matter how low down and dirty they do you, the minute you complain about it, they'll find a way to flip the tables and make you the bad guy. Absolutely crazy. Overtly dependent individuals. Now, at first glance, you might think that people who lean heavily on you for support are just showing their trust and closeness. But there's a fine line between healthy interdependence and destructive overdependence. Overtly dependent individuals rely excessively on others for their needs, decisions, and happiness. You see, they often struggle with self-sufficiency and personal growth because they're so used to leaning on others. They can't stand on their own 2 feet, in other words. Okay, and that's not good. And when you deal with these type of people and you keep giving them chance after chance, the only thing you're doing is allowing them to skirt responsibility, to not be accountable, and to also, just get other people to do things for them. And how do you live on your own? And some people do this with their children. Like they raise these teenagers who are so spoiled and feel so entitled, and they don't make them start to fend for themselves, learn to go out and get a job, make money, pay their bills. The parents or other people may continue to pay things for them or loan them money when they ask for it. How is that teaching them about being responsible? If they feel like every time they need something, they have a bill that's due or whatever, they can simply come and stick their hand out and somebody's going to put something in it. What's their incentive to go out and work for what they want and need? They have none in many cases. Now, I'm not saying all of them, but people who are overly dependent, these people are the ones I'm talking about. I'm not talking about how your kids may come and ask you, can you loan them some money or can you pay for something for them for school, like books when they're in college or whatever. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the ones that are always asking for something. They live in your house. You're not charging them rent, even though they're adults. But at the same time, they won't even buy their own toiletries. They won't do certain things. Okay, and I've had people complaining about these sorts of individuals to me. One person was telling me about their cousin that is like 30 years old, but refuses to go out and buy the bare necessities and always is in her stuff. This is all crazy. Okay? So, overly dependent individuals rely excessively on others for their needs, decisions, and happiness. They struggle with self-sufficiency and personal growth because they're used to leaning on others. Now, while it might seem kind to give these individuals a second chance, it's often more harmful than helpful. It prevents them from learning to stand on their own 2 feet and fosters a cycle of dependency that's really hard to break. Instead of enabling their behavior with a second chance, you should encourage them to seek help and develop their interdependence. And now it's a tough love approach, okay? But sometimes that's the best one. I mean, what else can you do? And how about the ninth type of people, which would be the consistent promise breakers? So trust is built on reliability. So when someone consistently breaks their promises, it undermines that trust. Promise breakers often make grand commitments but fail to follow through. Whether it's forgetting to do something they said they would or making promises they never intended to keep in the first place. Their behaviors shows a lack of respect for others and their time. Giving a second chance to a consistent promise breaker is like building a house on sand. Without a solid foundation of trust, the relationship is bound to crumble sooner or later. So when you encounter a promise breaker, think twice before giving them another chance. It might save you from disappointment in the future. And the 10th thing is unchanging individuals. So people can change, and in life, everything must change. Things just don't stay the same. But only if they truly want to can people change. And if they're willing to put forth an effort. Now, if someone shows no signs of wanting to improve or change, their harmful or destructive behavior, well, giving them a second chance is not going to magically spur them into action. Okay? They're just going to still keep doing what they've always done. So remember, a second chance isn't a magic fix. It's an opportunity for someone to prove they've learned and grown from their mistakes. If they're not interested in growth, then that second chance is just going to be wasted. The most important thing to remember is you deserve to be treated with respect and kindness always. So don't settle for anything less. And in the end, the complexity of human relationships is often a labyrinth of emotions, actions, and even consequences. And at the heart of this maze is a simple yet profound principle. It's called self-respect. The decision to grant or withhold a second chance is inherently tied to how much you value yourself and your well-being. An American philosopher and poet, Ralph Waldo Emerson, once said, "Nothing can bring you peace but yourself." Nothing can bring you peace but yourself. Now, other people can destroy your peace if you allow them to. That's what they can do. They can disturb your peace if you let that happen. Now, whether it's distancing from habitual liars, standing up to abusers, or severing ties with unapologetic wrongdoers, the underlying principle remains the same. And that is the fact that you deserve better. So stop settling. Remember, giving someone a second chance doesn't mean sacrificing your self-respect on the altar of forgiveness. It's about discerning who truly deserves your time, energy, and trust. And trust me, that's not everybody. And it's probably not even most of the people that you deal with. Just a select few. So in essence, it's not just about the people who don't deserve a second chance. It's also about you recognizing your worth, honoring your boundaries, and nurturing your own emotional health. And that's something that we all should be doing at the end of the day. We should all be nurturing our own emotional health. Okay, Terry Harper said, "That is so factual, Queen. I wasted over 20 years giving second chances to a narcissist." And you see what a waste of time that was now, beloved, because that person likely never changed. And you just had to say your goodbyes. Could have saved yourself a whole 20 years had you just gotten rid of them in the first place. But sometimes we feel compelled to give people second chance after chance after chance because we feel obligated to them or because we love them. But at the end of the day, do they really love us? I mean, even if they say so, how do you know? Because when someone loves you, they show it in their actions, in the way they speak to you, in the things they do for you, and their thoughtfulness, and their gratitude for the things you do for them. If you're not getting those things, well, that says a lot. Okay? Laverne says, "I keep it moving. You don't have to change. I'm out of here." Okay? Absolutely. Absolutely. So with that all being said, I'm going to wrap this up. Does anyone have any questions before I close out? Laverne says, "And if they apologize, it's not genuine." Right. That is the case with many of these people. Deronda said, "My daughter knew better." Samantha said, "Speak on it." Terry Harper said, "I'm done with giving them any chances." Okay? Yeah, some people are not going to change. It's sad to say. It's like the woman who marries the man that's cheated on her a myriad of times before they ever got engaged. Now she thinks or wants to think and believe and tells herself constantly that, oh, he's going to change once we get married. Once he puts a ring on my finger, he's going to stop. No. People are often victims of their own habits. Things that people do habitually, they tend to get caught up in that. And that's something that they've been doing for years. So if a person has been doing something for years, do you think they're really going to just be able to stop overnight? It's a process. And some people are not willing to go through the process. Some people are not even willing to try. Some people don't want to put forth an effort. And some people specifically don't want to admit fault, don't want to admit the things that they're doing are problematic. So they keep on trying to paint this picture of you being the issue, okay, to make you feel bad and make you feel guilty. And now you're carrying the shame for them because they have none, okay? Geronda said a zebra doesn't change its stripes, period. Absolutely. Lachlan Kim J said, very enlightening broadcast, Queen. Thank you for your gems today. Love you. And I love you also, beloved. Thank you for your kind words. Okay, Buckhurst DC said, very interesting. Thank you, Queen. You're welcome. So you're all welcome. Listen, I love you all to life. I hope you all enjoyed this. And we'll be back live on here. Not going to promise tomorrow because tomorrow I have to go on the backup channel. I have some juicy stuff to put out on there. So I will be back on here, however, on Wednesday. Okay, Wednesday. I'm going to be trying to be on here every other day. Now, for those of you who have memberships, as I said, I'll be uploading something for you either tonight or in the morning before the morning wake-up call. Okay, so with that all been said, I love you all to life. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. Peace.